we need one more person, so. I don't know, I forget what she said, if she was driving in, but we have some stuff for historic to talk about, so maybe we can do that. And if she can join us, and if Tim can't come, there's really not much to talk about.
I think one so long. Yeah.
So. Did you get a chance, were they still there? Did you get a chance to talk to them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, I talked to them last week, so I know a little bit about where we're at. I mean, not too much we can do at this point.
I go for my thumb and let cement. It's only a small space left of like, now's the time. Now's the time.
She had a small window.
Yeah, put a 350 coin in there.
That's what they get.
I had one.
Who did this chart?
So, Mass Historic did this, prepare this.
Oh, wow. Was this what you were looking for, or?
No, I had actually done, what I found was, I did find something that I can incorporate or just make a basic, timesheet. But it's very, there's like 25 meetings, not all of which we have to do because based on all the stuff that we've already done in establishing local historic district and the committee, a lot of that information is, you know, we're all set on that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's like 25 total meetings that involve all different aspects from, you know, writing a survey for the residents, getting the information back. What else? Having community meetings, things like that, which I hope that the district will kind of, you know, together and get rolling. And then in the interim, if you guys are out on a nice, beautiful day and you want to split up North Avenue and go take photographs, that'd be awesome. So maybe you can, you know, we can decide, all right, you take this side of the street, that side of the street, you do this many houses. I mean, basically, we're gonna photograph all of them,
All houses on North
all the
Avenue.
houses on North
Okay.
Avenue, yeah.
So you can get beat up first, right?
What are you doing? I know. Just tell me working for the assessor's office. They'll never.
I'd rather have me than the assessors.
Right, they would. The other little trick too is to, Jean Berthold gave me one of those reflective vests that
Oh,
says
yeah.
assessors on it.
Oh, yeah, you immediately look like you have business.
Exactly, so they,
yeah.
weekends are great because a lot of people are going away for the weekend, so I was like, all right, well, I'll sneak over there and grab those photos.
Do now we can split it up. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think we all look very non-threatening. Oh, it's gonna be a problem.
I can do just fine.
We should be careful though, with there are certain properties on North Ave that we absolutely should not go anywhere near
Oh, my God.
Yes,
due to past situations.
yes,
Like,
yeah, well, we know.
We're gonna need those house numbers.
Yeah.
At least without permission, or any photographs need to be taken from the street.
Yeah, which we could probably. swing
That's
down
all.
the street.
When we take them all from the street?
Yeah, I was thinking I wasn't gonna.
Yeah, I was gonna his properties.
No, I mean, if you can get a good shot. from the
Like if it's
street.
more setback, you mean, to not like walk on it
Yeah.
together?
Were you,
You
was it
would
just
get-
Lynn, or was it you? Was it both of you? Or was it Lynn? That got served for that?
Oh, she gets served, I got scolded.
Okay,
Oh.
Yeah.
yes, good times.
They're not reserved and scolded.
Yeah, that was a very interesting day, but that was, we were physically on the property, we were invited to be on the property. And then the property owner, drove up and just threatened us, and, you know, told us we were trespassing. It's like, but you didn't invite us, and we were just inquiring about a building permit that's not posted. So anyways, we filed these reports, it was all, you know, it was all very clear what we didn't do.
Mhm. That's good. We'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's, you'll see as you go along, a straight front shot is probably not what you wanna do, you wanna try to get an angled shot, so, all of these, subsequent buildings, barns, kind of are captured in the picture, and then when we're done with that, we'll with all the original photographs of those homes, and we'll pair them together, which will be really fun.
Yeah.
I love doing that stuff. That'll be awesome.
That's a match game.
Find bearded ladies in front of you. But you never know. That was presumptuous of me.
Deb says she can join us in a few minutes,
Oh, great.
but I mean, if we want to talk about the record room, then
Yeah, why don't we,
that's a
let's
commission
go
thing.
over the records one.
Can I go over the meeting?
Yeah.
Did you get the email I forwarded you from Ross? He pre-filled a bunch of stuff in that report, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
because I guess he said it was complicated.
Everything was Ross.
Oh.
The only other missing thing as I was going through the reporting at the end is that we haven't really done any publicity, public,
We should ask
reporting.
that paper to come do an article about it.
Yeah,
I mean, they like that stuff.
Yeah.
That might be a good thing to do. And David, he never did. David supposedly has a whole pile of stuff to give me with the newspaper clippings that he said he was gonna drop off, David DeMonch.
yeah,
I'll have to send another note and bug him to do that, because I have a digital copy, but I think we need all that to,
oh, yeah, I'm sure.
like, the official, like, reports that things were done in the way they were supposed to be done.
In the final report, they want photographs and, a narrative and, they wanna know what you spent and how it was spent and.
Not just photographs,
And,
printed photographs on very specific size paper, glossy paper, not even printed from a computer, like, it's only 24. Printed pictures, shouldn't say this.
Flash drive, be good.
Thing, but-
We'll do both, we've always found that if we do everything and then some.
I will say, I do appreciate, like, with the preservation restriction that and he explained this, that they're now including like photographs and more detail, which I think is something that would have been helpful when we were dealing with people trying to ignore preservation restrictions,
Oh, yeah,
like next door,
yeah,
or if you had a picture of, so I think that's a good thing.
yeah, no.
I don't wanna make fun of them too much. But,
Right.
so basically the deal with the record room is, and I think in short, my suggestion is that we would vote to consider approving that change order pending the availability of funds.
Yeah.
The problem is, right now, we have $0 extra. We have like $2,500 in the historic budget that we could use.
So how did we get from, we hired the cheapest workers at a minus amount?
So what happened here is, we needed to have gone to CPA and gotten a special article for all of the engineering. Instead, we had already done the town meeting vote, and then we had to eat into the project article to pay to do all the engineering to build the RFP. And unfortunately, that engineering was very expensive because we basically had to pay 2 people to do it. Because we had to bring in Mike Petrovic to finish the job and get everything posted and all the specs.
And the grand total
So
that
it
we
was
spent
like
with
$20,000.
Armando,
It was right around 10 or a little more, plus we paid him previously to do, so the problem is I think Armando was very knowledgeable, Armando was not cheap. He was very expensive, and we paid him to do all those drawings for the RFP, and then we basically paid him another $9,000 to do all that back and forth with to generate the for the grant application and the RFP.
and how much was paid to Mike?
I believe the total for Mike is 10,000. I think I sent you something, and I think I have it.
I know you did, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, that's all.
So let me just,
Um,
share a quick photograph of the flooring upstairs.
but the issue, what they're saying is the problem with the flooring is that it's got significant buckling and rippling in it, and the specs just say refinish it, and in its current state, it cannot be refinished without it being completely ripped up and relaid, which I remember having that conversation with Armando in that space. The problem is, on the drawings, it just calls out a little square and says, fix this one spot,
Right,
and so they bid based on that.
so
But it's
they've now
much more than
removed the
that,
top
right?
flooring, and it's now stripped down to, they
So-
need to put in a subfloor now.
Well, have you been, those are new pictures?
Yep, these are
So
new pictures.
what they've done,
Basically.
They've pulled out specific pieces of
This is the
flooring
original floor.
to secure
Now they have to
the
get
structure, because they had
all
no
of
choice.
this area.
Right.
It's buckled.
But it's a
Okay.
total waste of money to refinish our floor.
Right,
Over the middle.
oh, okay.
If you.
So this is the original floor.
Okay.
This is, they removed this, so they now need to put in
Oh.
subfloor, and then they also need to put in,
Where's Buckland?
well,
I don't say let's walk up there,
we
Take
could,
a little field trip.
bring Ruth on
but
the
it was up,
phone.
it was up in this area here, we were all buckling in the, this beetle here was. But yeah, you can scroll through.
I mean, I think really the bottom line, we're screwed, we're up against the deadline, we
Yeah.
waited till the very last minute, it's a miracle this has gotten as far as it's gotten.
I'm confused on why we had one engineer and then we were paying a second one. Did the first
So,
one back out? Like,
No, what happened here, they worked, this gentleman Armando, CDBS, was hired. He helped us prepare all the paperwork for the grant, did all the drawings.
Yeah.
And then you had to go out to bid, so he was supposed to put together all the bid spec, but then he had some health issues.
Okay,
And then, so he's not a licensed architect, he's an associate architect, so he legally could not stamp the plans. But then we went through 3 revisions with Ross, where Ross would kick them back and say, these are incomplete, they're missing things. And that's when David Demonch, who is the interim town administrator, brought in Petrovic, who's the architect of the senior center project, and basically said, hey, can you do me a favor and help us out here? So Mike Petrovic took Ross's drawings and wrote all the specs, which is like 400 pages of, I almost would say, I almost want to say bullshit, but it is, it's all important, technical stuff.
Yeah.
But because you had 2 different
And then,
parties,
these
I
are
think
basic.
some things got missed.
So, see if I can get.
And we had a previous engineer that we had found that ghosted us. So she had found Armando was like the only person we could get to respond.
Most of it.
did everyone know going in that he
We're
wasn't
moving
like
out
a
of
full
the
licensed architect?
fall.
Well, it was disclosed, I don't think we fully understood.
Oh, good.
That he couldn't follow through the whole thing then?
Right, I think we got in
So,
way over our
these
heads
are
on
the
this, no
old,
support.
brick
And we're just trying to get it done.
reinforcements to the
Yeah,
fire.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
So either in the
Yeah,
building.
obviously,
Unfortunately.
it ends up costing money.
And they have to.
In hindsight, we should have gone out to bid for the engineering services and found somebody through that process, even though technically it's not required.
So I went down and I'm like, I saw this switch and I looked it on, I'm like, oh my God, I can see everything. Before, when you were down here without all these lolly columns and these support beams, I mean, everything was sagging, everything was wet, it was dreadful. And the whole floor was dirt and mud and. But these are some of the old beams. But huge problems down there.
But anyway, so I guess to go back to where we were, the problem is we moved through our contingency on the engineering.
Right.
And what I thought we had voted, so with administrative, we just approved to pay the money for him to do the prep for the grant from CPA administrative funds, but we never got like money set aside for the engineering. So we did go back to them to get some additional funds and we could have potentially hit them up for a little more, which would have maybe solved this $4,000 issue.
And it was my understanding that when we went to CPA, we had authorized up to $40,000.
Yeah, but it was in like it was a year, it was a while ago. That was the problem, it was so far ago that CPA, the administrative funds are only good for like a year. So they had to vote again to authorize the more recent payment. We should have set aside money for the engineering, I think, because then, knowing now that we would need another 20,000 of engineering to get just the RFP prepared, I think
Yeah.
maybe we thought that everything we had was good to go.
Yeah.
And then there were all these expenses, but either way, I think, I mean, the big stuff is done.
I mean, the worst is over.
I am a little, I mean, they did, I wanted to look a little closer, have Mike or somebody look at some of the repointing, it kind of seems a little done very quickly.
Yeah.
I don't know, I know they just did a little bit of it.
Unfortunately, I did take some pictures.
I know there was an issue there that was addressed, so. Okay, Mike, I will say, he did follow up with that on them, the, I
Did
guess.
you do the base, did you review the basement repointing? Because that also is an area where I thought, well, it's okay, but
I don't know if he's come back out to inspect the work, and maybe that's a conversation with Mike Petrovic that we should say, you know, can we schedule time that you can come out and look this over and make sure, you know, if there's more things, you know, if we need to hold back anything, or if we're concerned that things need to be done in a certain way.
what, do you happen to know if concrete was the approved method of repointing that basement? Because my understanding was it was not.
I honestly, I have no idea. I have been so busy, I
Yeah.
am only tangentially involved with this. I have not read those specs and details, and I think, you know, that maybe is part of the problem.
I'm just afraid that Mike approved things and we now, oh, they'll be.
Where do they repoint in the basement?
All over the walls.
Because I haven't been down, the last time I went down, they had the footings done, and he had temporary beams.
Yeah.
We couldn't go in the building.
So it's all, there's concrete
The
on
whole-
the entire floor.
Okay, so
All
that's
the columns are up, the beams,
perfect.
they finished securing all of the, brick columns down there. I think they've got a little bit more work to do there,
Yeah,
but all of the stone was repointed.
so we should look at what, I mean, we have to look at what was called for. I mean, I know there was, you know, the issue with the mortar, so they sent everything to Mike with the recipe they were using that did meet the standards.
Okay.
They're claiming that the material, what they're saying is the mortar that was there was the wrong mortar, and they had to use a machine to take it out. There was no way to remove it without damaging the brick. I mean, they should not have just been grinding in open air with whatever, but that's
Yeah,
their own
that's-
decision, although it's really not great for the neighbors.
And it was pretty short-lived, I mean, within the day they were done,
So,
so.
you know, I think, let me just look what his
I
reply
did
was.
talk to the gentleman who was doing the repointing.
The actual
He
mason.
said, oh, yeah.
Hey,
He's like, oh, we're on it there now. Don't worry, it wasn't that much. Well, you know, they're your lugs.
hang on, let me look at what Mike's, there was an email about the mix. Now, I would assume they use the same stuff in the basement, honestly, I don't know. Here are the mortar specs from our mason. As you can see, it's an acceptable mix according to preservation brief. And they sent a whole spec sheet from this, whatever this product is. So I
Was
was,
that exterior mortar or interior?
this is a Hawk Point mortar spec mix, blah, blah, blah.
Projects don't usually get this fussy. Unfortunately, this one is very fussy.
I'd have to read this in detail. I assume that this meets the standards of what was specified in everything.
All right, well, we'll just follow up.
So I think we should verify and I verify with him, yeah, because there was some confusion, there was another issue with the footings. The plans didn't have any specs for rebar, but it was called for in the specs, so Mike had to figure that out. There was some discrepancy with the type of concrete that needed to be used that he had to they had to sort out. He's supposed to provide them specs on the pump, which I'm hoping has been done now. So it's just this issue with the flooring, and I think unfortunately, worst case scenario, I'm saying, you know, maybe there's a reduction. If they can't refinish the floor at all, I guess it's a negative change order.
Well, the floor is done, the floor is gone.
Well, yeah, they had to pull up some of it because they had to secure the subfloor. So he basically said they were gonna pull up what they needed to pull up in a way that it could be salvaged as best as possible. And then the change order would be to relay it, otherwise they'll just leave it there and we'll have to do that in phase 2. But at a minimum, the structure's been taken care of.
All right, and have they priced out what the cost of
the change order, I have it, hang on,
Did you have your keys to get in there?
yeah,
And I registered.
Well, Dan said it a few minutes ago, but.
we could go,
Shall
but
we take a walk?
the problem is this is a posted recorded meeting, so we're gonna bring it with us, we're violating.
Well, we could end the meeting and then resume.
No, I know, we have to technically because of how, we would have to.
All right, let's, all right, 7:30, let's get out of here by 8.
But I don't know if Deb, I told Deb not to rush over here,
8 o'clock will
because I think Tim was supposed to join us. I mean, at this point, if we get the paperwork submitted to the state, and get some sort of preliminary approval, it does sound like, there's a little bit of wiggle room, like we really can't do work in July, but, if something goes over by a day, I think it's
Yeah,
not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Um,
There's, yeah, and we should, let's have it aside because I see some things that I think we need to bring to Mike's attention.
So yeah, so we should see if he can come out and do a final, some sort of walkthrough and this work proposal pertaining to change order discussed, proposing to remove existing floor up to the 2 middle beams. It's recommended to properly secure the subfloor and fix humps not mentioned in drawings that cannot be sanded flat. And their labor is $2,600, materials are $700, the markup is $600, and then there's a credit of $300. The total price is $3,900. We have somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,500 in our regular town account that we could access. Unfortunately, I don't see us getting any sort of transfer or anything approved in a timely manner because it has to go to multiple boards. So like I said, I mean, we're already gonna have to do a phase 2. It's just, unfortunately, that may not be part of it. And the floor is not original flooring. It's old flooring, but, and it's part of the building, but it's not the original, so it's not an essential thing. So that's as far as I know. He called me this afternoon, but I didn't have time to answer him. I wanted to get in touch with you to go over a couple things, kind of on our way to wrapping up here. I want to see how to handle the end of the job and talk about the flooring. So it'd probably be good to set a meeting.
Yeah.
With Patrick, the contractor, and maybe even potentially post it, whoever can attend, if we want to do some sort of walkthrough. Just make sure we're all on the same page, anything that.
Yeah, I mean, there are some things that need to be done that I mean, they're so obvious, and if there's nothing wrapped up, part of it is flooring related, then we're gonna have troubles.
Yeah, well, we should verify, and we have to make sure it's stuff that was in the specifications and on the drawings, otherwise.
Yeah.
But I would assume if that was the issue, is Ross went over the fine tooth comb. So everything on these drawings should be done. Yeah, it's just this tiny little square, here, I'll share it.
Did you,
This is the problem, is all the plan said was this. Repair and place damaged finished floor with light cutting flooring, remove, repair, and blend, but it just showed this small area, not the whole place. If not, to be fair, I think they came to the site, they should have seen it, but I mean, these change orders are not uncommon.
yes,
Hi.
but that whole, right up, I mean, that whole divider over,
Right.
all of it.
Right, because they had to.
All of it.
So I didn't know they were pulling it off, I thought they just took the 12 pieces of it, just join some, but maybe it was easier just to pull it all. But it has to come up anyway to fix it. The fix was to pull it up and relay it flat. I mean, when I talked to him the last time, he said he's shocked the building hasn't come down. I guess the ends of all those beams were like gone,
Oh, yeah.
the needles.
It's not there.
So that's like a huge improvement.
So David, did you also send me any of those, so I can process them in the report
Which,
and the drawings?
yeah, I think I sent you all this,
Alright, okay.
those are all the specs.
All right.
That's just the package that we have.
All right, well, we can move forward from the records one.
Yeah.
With the exception of color choice.
Oh, yeah, we gotta figure, he keeps adding, my inclination is just say match what's there, and he tried to explain something to me last week, and to be honest, I don't really get it, because I have a million things going on, something about the sashes and the windowsills, and so I don't know if you physically went there and have any opinion on what colors things should be.
It looked like they had painted the sashes in the
So
windowsills.
if we're good with that, we'll just tell them it's all set,
Yeah.
match what's on the wall. I don't know, I don't know what's on the wall.
I think the wall is like a kind of
Yes.
an off-white,
Paint is cheap,
and
so
it is.
can always paint again if we want a different color.
These are the interior.
The record room,
Yeah.
yeah. I seem to remember being like a, I don't know, like a yellowish color,
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, the lighting downstairs is spectacular. Upstairs is, the switches aren't working,
So
so.
they probably haven't done that yet. There was something else, they had to do something with the panel too, so that might be in progress.
There's definitely a corner that's,
But were they even replacing the lighting upstairs?
no,
So I think it was just the
but it
basic.
shouldn't be out of commission, unless there's an issue. We need to talk about what that issue is. Yeah, I'll just go in there tomorrow. I'll go talk to them.
Well, I think, yeah, I think we need to give them something just in official with the paint, but I'm fine with you. I would defer to Kathy on the paint choice, would be my vote. I don't particularly care, so. If you let me, if you know what time I can meet you over there, I should be around, I'm just waiting for somebody to call me to set up a meeting.
All right, afternoon, like 2:30.
Yeah, Todd Broder's supposed to call me to go look at a well, but other than that, I'll be around.
All right, I'll call you.
So if we do that, and then I'll tell him that, and then I'll reach out to Mike and see that we should set something up.
I think my other thought down the road is to get rid of all of those bookshelves that are in there.
Oh, the built-in.
Yeah. And I just don't see the need, and I see it's creating other issues, so nice to see those go. The ones on the top, I would say leave, but I would call them.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be like if we potentially went back in November and asked for another small sum of money
Hmm.
to set aside for ongoing, for more work.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like, we would need engineering for water and sewer. We need to figure out the whole land swap situation. And that was, someone passed that through to me, I think we need to sort that out, because I think things potentially could get more complicated in the future. So I think we just need to look at a map and draw a line and let me actually
Established, yeah.
really quick while we're here, even though I just want to pull up the map and look at this really quick. And where is it? Okay, yeah, so I guess the question is how much more land do we need? Is it just for parking or is it,
To be honest, because of the size of the parcel, I would take as much as we can get.
So this is based, I know the other plan now, Millie, I don't think they're gonna wanna draw this line all the way back. There's no way they can do that.
No, but I would at least bring it up halfway, so that you have a little extra wiggle room in the event that,
If they were willing to, and I don't, yeah, we should, where
and
the
I'm sure
utilities
it
work.
would be, it's just overgrown, it's just got trees on it.
Yeah, we just don't wanna take anything that they might need.
Yeah, I don't see
We'll have to
that,
look at that
when
plan.
it's just gonna be a recreation. And it does have a long backyard, so there's a lot of like, to that 15,
We just need to figure out whether their septic and well is,
yeah.
but I think we should probably target that for November as well, because I think
Yeah,
that may need to tell me,
okay,
and like I said, I think it sounds like we're running out of time for this to be simple, and then I think it becomes much more complicated with lots of layers involved.
understood.
Anyway, all right,
All right, so I'll follow up with them tomorrow, call you, we'll meet up at the records room. Feel free to walk in at any given time. You guys are really nice, very helpful.
Yeah.
On your own commission, they'll give you the tour. Although it is like, it's a drop like this much to the new concrete floor, so I'm like, you are gonna put stairs in there, right?
Oh, okay.
No, I'm trying to get out of the basement and I'm going. Like, I'll just, get my knee up on it and step. All right, what else do we have on the
So
agenda?
just call it texting.
Some attorneys.
Yeah, I just put continued from last time's discussion, I mean. Oh, the minutes that you sent out. I want to vote on those.
Do you want to vote on the minutes? Did everybody get a chance to read?
Yes.
Dan, did I get the name of the company correct?
I have no idea, these are, I think you sent it twice, hang on.
I did.
Here are
I
the
sent
correct
The
minutes.
bad one and.
One says not.
Hang on a second. I think so, which company? Oh, that's wrong. Okay, I'll fix that. Change my Petrovic.
So, Mike Petrovic, did I spell it incorrectly?
Yeah, was it, oh, is that how you spell Ross's name? Check that too. And our preservation restriction has, Elena signed it, it's been mailed in, so now we're waiting on them to sign it.
And then it needs to physically go to,
Well, it has to be recorded, but apparently Karis can do them electronically, which I wish I had known before I went there 5 times.
wow,
So we just have to get a good scan of it and she'll do it. So that would be excellent, because I don't
All right,
want to go
let's-
there again.
we should make sure we can confirm with Karis.
Yeah, no, she emailed me that. She said, oh, when you're ready to record, let me know, my office can do it.
That'd be so nice.
And then they'll probably just put it in the town council bill,
I'm all right with that.
but, all right, so then we make a
All right,
motion
does
to
anybody want to,
approve these as amended. I'll move to approve, I'll step down and make a motion to approve the minutes from May 20th, 2024.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
aye.
We did it right now. And then I can also
And
note
it is JJB.
JJB,
Okay, got it, all right.
no, yeah,
Yes.
J, because it's their brothers. Might be JBB, hang on. No, JJB, that's what's on the check. JJB,
Just check, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
correct the spelling of Mike's name and check Rusty.
yeah. Well, I just changed it,
Oh,
but that's it, because if I don't do them now, they don't get posted
all right.
until the next meeting, and they go, oh yeah, I never posted those.
Minutes are done.
And I guess technically we have a quorum for the historic district commission. If I don't know, somebody taking notes or.
Yeah.
There isn't, oh,
I have not done
Okay.
the last meeting's notes though, it's on my to-do list every
no.
week, just keep moving week to week on the list.
That's how I did my minutes.
That's not how
Very
to
good. That's very good.
Sorry, we can. And I mentioned before, so it might be worth going to them and merging the two commissions. I made a chart, and I can't open it on this computer. I did it at home.
Just merging the district and.
So what you would suggest doing is that have people appointed, so I don't know. You know. The people who are not on one would be appointed as either regular or alternate members to the other.
Okay.
And basically, effectively, they have the same membership, so then we could just hold joint meetings, even though they technically would be two separate commissions. We would, we still have to probably have two separate sets of minutes.
Okay.
But it might simplify things. And I don't like you could, maybe you only want to be an alternate on the historic commission, and then there's sometimes that you say, oh, yeah, I'm not going, I don't need to do that.
Right.
Or vice versa, where maybe Ruth only wants to be an alternate, or something. I mean, I don't know, unless somebody else comes out of the woodwork, I think, the commission, I think, is okay. It's the district that's really tight. We basically have nobody,
Doesn't help when I'm stuck in my work, completely forgot.
Well, you have to do, you have to quit work.
Yeah, no. Gotta pay the bills. Oh, gosh.
so I don't know, that might be, maybe we'll see what happens, I think we probably have to figure it out, to send letters of interest to the board.
Okay.
Maybe double check that that doesn't invoke some strange problem.
Was Mark still on the committee?
No,
No, I don't know why he's still listed, I think his term,
You can just remove it from the website, can't you? He's ended a long time ago.
23 now, so now I can. His term was valid, but then,
Oh,
yeah, he just was too busy.
yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why he's still here, we should unpublish him from this, because he's no longer. It's 2020, nobody updates this, because it's, to put it nicely. So sometimes when they do appointments, sometimes no one does them. Alright, yeah, so Mark is off, so that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have a second vacancy. And I don't know, Tim, I should send Tim a text, actually. He said he was gonna attend.
Who's Tim?
Tim McCarty,
For the post office building.
Oh, okay.
for the post office, I mean, I can fill you in on where we're at, but. He texted me over the weekend, or he texted me Thursday, 'cause I
He
had
was just gonna do
I mean, so yeah, the deal is, so he came to us when we first formed.
Yeah.
He actually talked to Mark at the time, because he had to do a repair on the parking lot side. And he wanted to know whatever, and we basically said, no, you can't just do vinyl siding, whatever, so he did new wood, he painted it.
Yeah.
So then he started doing all this work and claimed it was still under the same permit 2 years later, but he did a new building permit because he wanted to re-up it. But it technically is repair, and this is what we wanted to talk to John Erickson about, was to understand
What constitutes
Like-
that?
where we should be drawing the line.
Like at what point does a simple repair trigger the requirement for a permit, right? Because there are
Right.
people who do like little things on the outside of their house, but little to one person could be big to another, right? So like, how do you define that?
Yeah, and where, what triggers a building permit,
Mhm.
what triggers, where we should be saying, yeah, it's a repair, but you need
Most
to come
people
talk
aren't
to us.
pulling permits for those small things, but somebody
Yeah.
could just swap out clapboard to vinyl, not pull a permit, we're never gonna know about it. Well,
Yeah,
Right.
right, well,
That's what it is, yeah.
and to his credit, it's all put up, it's done, it looked like it was, it's all been painted. He said something about wanting to do work on the front of the building.
he did do
And
the
they were
clapboard,
painting-
though, didn't he?
I think it's just wood, it might be a hardy board material, but it's not vinyl siding.
Hardy board's fine, I mean,
Yeah.
it looks,
It
hardy
was-
board's honestly the nicer way to do it, it's just really expensive.
I didn't look that close at it, if it was wood, I mean, technically, if a material was used that wasn't the original,
Mhm.
then it's technically a violation and it should have come before us for a certificate.
I wonder if there's a way we could just put right in the design guidelines that hardy board is an
Yeah,
is a,
oh, like a pre-approved.
Yeah.
All right, let me hang on.
sorry, I know you have your notes going.
No, I wanna, yeah, that's a good one, that's a really good one, we should, because I think the district commission can hold a public hearing for a specific thing, like
Mhm.
we're gonna allow mailboxes globally.
Right.
It doesn't have to be an applicant, so that might be a thing we could do. Where's my design?
Because
Draft.
if you're gonna make the repair and it's not worthy enough of, a permit, as long as you're using hardy board or that cedar, clapboard, it's fine.
All right, I'll make a note for that too, then we'll add that to the list of things to consider.
I was just at a property in Upton it's the property on the corner of Elm Street, the old historic one, they've done a lot of work to it. And they swapped it all out with hardy board, you couldn't even tell.
I mean, it says, what does this say? Nothing in this bylaw shall be construed to prevent the ordinary maintenance, repair, or replacement of any exterior architectural feature within a district that does not involve a change in design, material, color, or the outward appearance thereof, and then landscaping and all that. So I suppose technically it's a change in material. So but maybe we could do that and hold a hearing and say, you know, this is a pre-approved method of repairing siding. So that's a good thought. And yeah, I don't know what he had planned for the front. It did look like they painted the railing the other week, which that's not regulated. But I don't know if he had bigger work planned or.
Honestly, I was there this morning and I didn't even look or take note because it didn't pop out.
You find this number.
Maybe my head was. I always just look at the library and I think, oh, I love the colors of that.
Yeah.
And then I get distracted.
I do the same.
And then I look at the brick. And I think to myself, why did they stop it there?
Stupid line, yeah. It just, see, that was another one, when we got to points where like you'd say something, it's like, well, the budget's already set, we can't make any changes now.
It's like,
okay,
you could
but.
have gone like an extra 2 feet and it would have looked a lot better. Maybe one day they'll.
You know, I think that's the problem with some of these grants, is you get under all these deadlines and processes and it just.
Or like who's supervising it is my.
Well, that project had a study committee that was involved. I think Kathy was part of it initially, myself and
But like
Alan.
who's supervising the work as it's,
The Horsley Wind, it was an engineering firm that
Okay.
supervised everything. So this was the planning unit, because I remember.
cause like if anybody with like
Yeah.
half, like a sound mind was actually there to supervise, they would have said, go further.
I think that
Or let's put in a request.
the memory I had was when we brought those requests up, we got a lot of pushback of we can't afford it, it's not an option. We have X dollars, period, that's it.
Under their grant,
Under
now, the
their.
other avenue where we started,
Mhm.
brick walkway that went up,
Yeah.
level,
Yeah,
was part of the complete
Right, that was-
streets.
Mhm.
And now that we are in a position and doing smart routes to school, the school is, I believe, working that angle. That all comes into the complete streets.
So did
review.
somebody start writing a grant or writing something to try and get approval for the North Ave sidewalks? Or no?
For North Ave,
Because with the schools?
yeah, I mean,
This-
part of complete streets is to make, with the bicycle lanes coming in, those sidewalks have to be rideable,
Mhm.
there's gonna have to be a bicycle lane in there.
So there is something in the works for that?
No, I
it's
think we
a
have to
thing
go
we
back.
can apply for. We need a town administrator, that's the answer to that.
It really is
We need
something out
somebody-
there.
A lot of the
advocate.
base work was done for complete streets,
Right.
so all of that was included, so what we have to do is we have to
Okay.
go through the process again.
Okay.
Because you were part of this, I think, I remember you had to fight to get them to give you the time of day to hey, can you just sign this plan? And
Yeah,
This
Complete.
federal money is out there.
Complete streets is what it's.
Yeah. it's a great program, it's a great funding source.
So that's another thing with Jeremy, once he starts, and this came up in that meeting for the master plan too, we had a big, open space and rec plan, we had discussed the sidewalks with Ann about this.
Yeah.
I think that's actually one of the goals of the open space and rec plan is,
My thing
Further.
too is if we can get the district to go run down North Ave and almost imagine if you could have nice sidewalks there and have it continue through the district.
would it be all this, I mean, they did a little bit, but it would look so nice to have brick all the way up,
Grant money.
and then if, right,
It's a state.
I mean, even the Route 16
You should
project,
see what the other towns are doing, so.
they won't extend the sidewalks down to the beach, or down to Taft Ave.
It's so crazy
That
because
last
the
little
kids just wanna ride their bikes to do those things and they can't if they're not from a
Yeah,
specific side of
I
town.
mean, there could be a bike lane, but.
Right, and that was part of the complete streets, was that there should be a bike lane sidewalk that goes all the way down Taft Ave. So we just have to.
Well, I'm talking about this thing from, in front of the dealerships at the end there,
Yeah,
all that new work
Yeah.
they're doing, there's gonna be new sidewalk, there's sidewalk there and it stops, but they're not gonna
right,
continue.
right. And the plan was to continue that sidewalk and go all the way, loop around and go down Taft Avenue, so. I mean, it's all conceptually prepared, it's
Yeah.
just, how do we get there and,
But I think John is very open to this stuff too, he just, once he
Yeah.
figures out everything and is here, I think
and I think if
that's,
we can get some like young, energized parents to get on board and just kind of help to see it through. That would be great.
yeah,
I mean, we
like
can
you
get
just said, there's gonna be more
historic-
people with that same opinion in that area
Yeah,
that would help push,
I feel like there are like a lot of younger families living.
yeah,
Right, right.
So, maybe.
cause it would be nice to, do something with that.
Right, and I think if we connect with the people who are working on these smart routes to school, those people might also be interested in.
Was the school doing something with that? I'll have to ask my father when I
I
see him.
believe so.
If he knows.
There's a group that was working on the smart routes to school.
Part of that,
Is that part of
Yeah.
Complete Streets, the smart routes to school, or those?
Yeah, you have to partner at Smart Routes to School,
Okay,
as part of your Complete Streets.
okay.
Like, I can send you the policy that we wrote.
I'll ask him if he knows who
Yeah,
is,
ask
who's
me
involved.
who's behind that, because that would be great if we could connect.
That
was something that the previous administrator was supposed to make all these connections, and they just didn't happen.
No, I think, well, I think the new board of selectmen too, I think.
I was gonna say, like,
To
maybe
this,
they would.
Like Brendan or Lance, I think they are much more interested in
Would
these things.
Washington Street ever have like a bike path or anything like that down there, or do you think that's?
I don't know, I think that, I think the understanding of these things is you basically have to look at all and prioritize what can be done. The problem is we can't afford any of it. I mean, when you look at that, I think they're in the process of updating that road study from highway. It's not even close, it's millions of dollars to do the things that we want. So then we have to figure out how to fund it all.
Well,
But
it's
this-
amazing what Ann gets us funding for.
Well, that's the thing, it's so much grant, this complete streets thing, if something.
Right,
yeah.
maybe Ann, somebody put Ann on this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know, I'll have to ask her, I don't know if she's as interested in that, I wonder, we should ask Isabel about it too. Cause she needs more things to
I mean,
do.
it's really, if we could get, these, bicycle lanes open, then, the hope is to connect all the way up North Ave, down on Hopedale Street, and get into that, Trask property,
Oh, I mean,
and then connect to the new, conservation land up on North Avenue, and then into the Hopedale, their open space and their parks and lanes, so, I mean, it's that
Yeah.
connectivity that, and that's a great argument for a lot of these projects, is if you connect with another town, it makes it more viable. You're more willing to fund it.
I'm just, Dylan is the other one we should talk to.
Yeah, Dylan's great.
Maybe, especially maybe once they restructure some things, figure out, maybe that's something she can
does the
say.
town have a designated grant writer?
No,
But we have a town planner though now, so that might be something that the planner.
Does the school have a designated grant writer?
I don't know if they have a job title, I think
They just.
we
different
really
people,
should.
I think my father.
I just feel like, isn't that like
They
a
send it.
thing that towns have, like?
A lot of towns do, I know Oxford does, but I think it's a missed opportunity here, because we relied on individuals to do all the grant writing.
Voluntary,
Yeah, well, I think it's the administrator, to me, that's what their administrator should be doing,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
helping to write grants and coordinate
Right.
this stuff.
yeah,
Well, we could, Jody had mentioned, we need like a project type of a position.
yeah,
Maybe that is the town administrator, but somebody to keep track of all this stuff.
Is there a new town?
Yeah, so they did a second round of interviews, they found somebody, they made him an offer, I believe he accepted it, and I think he starts in early July. His name is Jeremy something Stoll, from he's the CFO of the Bristol County Sheriff's Association or Sheriff Office.
He's
So,
pretty good.
I don't know, yeah, Ellen says he's good, that's all I know. She was on the committee, she said they were all good, but we need somebody,
we did,
it's just nothing is getting done. Anyway, yes, Tim didn't answer me, so I don't know, I think,
There's really nothing
I
to,
mean, he repaired everything and looked, I mean, you wouldn't know it by looking at it, and he did too, they removed all that ugly sheet metal on the side of the building, he did say they did that. It just, it would be nice if we would come to the commission first, even if, we're gonna approve what you're gonna do,
I think maybe we just need to talk about when those, dating the design guidelines, maybe making a couple extra notes on like the town historic district page or something as like a call to action for,
Yeah, I mean, there's already a
I
whole
know there's links on the side.
step-by-step instruction and a flow chart, that Brendan suggested last time.
I just don't think people look,
Yeah.
or like, it's just like it could be
But,
staring them in the face.
in other towns, if you do work without a permit,
Mhm.
they make you pay double,
Mhm.
so I think,
Mendon is, it's like.
we need to start and it's not like we're denying permits and not whatever, we just, I think there's a process and we should follow the process.
Do it the right way.
And 9 times out of 10, we're gonna approve it, it's, brought before us, we just let's do it the right way, so everybody knows about it. Yeah, I have a whole list here, I was actually thinking, I was gonna maybe reach out to even like to Lonnie and see what his thoughts are, because he was helpful last time. But at some point, we should think about looking over these design guidelines again, maybe in the
So- And then in respect to expanding the district, I know that we were all gonna kind of catch up and see what research hasn't been done on the homes on North Ave. I know the society, Ruth, I know the society, has just been working on the deed research there, so.
What was your question?
Where do you think the society is at for, say, like percentage of remainder of homes on the North Ave strip for deed research?
I think maybe half of them are done,
Okay.
but we've kind of come to I don't know, Jane's been very busy and
Yeah.
we've lost some members and.
Yeah.
so it's not progressing too quickly.
No, it's fine. I wish I had more time. I could do deed research. I love deed research.
Well, it's like pulling all those, I mean, a lot of them should have the forms, we just gotta pull the form, copy the information, and then verify that it's correct. Because there was some weirdness from that stuff that was done all those years ago.
Right. But
Um,
it's also a beefier area,
Yeah,
there's
there's
a
a lot
lot
more
of history
history.
on that street.
Mhm.
For sure.
So, I mean, I think in the interim, what we could do, is, we can collect photographs, current photographs, we can work on the survey, the, property owners survey and just see if we can get that
Okay, that's a good one.
running. Those are easy things.
But that FAQ you sent out, like, we looked that over, that was helpful.
Yeah, the frequently asked questions, and then there's what is it, the narrative, the narrative is, taking what's already been written and compressing it,
Mhm.
which could be done over the summer. I'm a little worried about the time frame because,
That's what I'm saying, is if it's 50% of the way done in terms of research too.
yeah,
And, they've lost members and they're a little slow for, one reason or the other, which is completely fine. I'm concerned that this isn't all gonna happen in the
Yeah.
time that you guys were thinking.
yeah,
So-
no, I mean, I don't think,
Maybe like next May,
I mean, it would be better, I think, at an annual town meeting.
anyhow,
I think
right?
that
So
seems to be,
the May
it's
meeting.
gonna be an interesting meeting.
But even
anyway.
that, like, when does everything need to be submitted by for that?
I
Because
think-
I remember we kept missing deadlines.
I think it's like I think we need to have a completed document by like a solid 6 months out.
Yeah,
So figure Maytown meeting, the deadline is
so that
April
puts
first.
us into November,
I would say September. No,
September,
October.
November, October.
That's 6 months from April, because I didn't.
Oh, you
I
want,
didn't-
by April, you have to have it submitted, oh, not May.
Well, actually, I think, I think we have to start the submittal, this doesn't have the deadline, so I think we have to start the submittal process
So
like
then, like,
months out, I think it's 90 days for
then
the
this
planning
is,
board.
then this is not happening by then, I'm just being,
Yeah, I think,
so then maybe November meeting?
you know, I mean, even if it waits another year, I
Right.
think if we start the
Okay.
process,
Right,
As
right.
long as we're working on it and, you know, working towards that. I do think you're gonna have a lot of pushback on the street.
well, it's worth noting that even though like, you know, like, I guess, you know, so like Lonnie's properties.
Yeah.
Things in the back that are not visible from the public way are exempt by definition.
And
It's
here's
just
the thing,
that
they're
front
already, they're
house.
already up, they're pre-existing, there's nothing we
Right.
can do about that. Anyway, we're not gonna go back to them and say, okay, remove your vinyl siding now.
No, but it could impact work that they wanna do in the future, so I
Right.
understand that there could be opposition.
Yeah,
And, you know, I don't know, maybe, I know they don't like the Swiss cheese approach, maybe there's a,
we
like,
might have to.
chunk of 5 or
choose
6
to get
houses
people to go.
that makes sense to me removed. That's Tim. I guess I'm gonna- Oh, hi Tim, you're on the speaker.
Oh, how you doing?
Good, you?
Are you still looking at me?
Yeah, we're here. I can send you that, there's a, oh, you're around.
I'm just coming up the road, I wasn't going yet.
Oh, yeah, no worries, we're talking about historic districts, so that would be awesome, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
So Dan, I have two questions, as I'm looking at this, this is the abbreviated version of establishing a local historic district. I would get this out to everybody.
Okay.
I did also include in the attachments a little snafu that we had with one of the people on Washington Street. So it's just a cautionary tale of how we didn't do everything. And they micro-examined the process and just picked it apart on us, so it was very. I bet you can't even guess who that was. And this has 20 items that we need to do. Dan, how do we need a list of all the residents on North Avenue, and we need a map.
Yeah, we can
I
get that.
can easily get that.
I mean, I was supposed to do this last time, I haven't had time.
Well, I need an old map or a new map?
I say we include both.
Yeah,
Well, for the actual map, we will involve Matt Franzi and the CMRPC and have them do a proper
Right, they'll do it, I mean, the
map.
old district map
Yeah.
was, magic marker.
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
So CMRPC is, now, who wants to engage CMRPC?
Yeah, I can do that, that's one, we might have to wait till July 1, we can ask him to, but there's no point in doing any of that till we know exactly what to include. Because anytime you go to him with revisions, it takes a while.
Yeah,
So it's better to just say, do this, and in the short term, we can just take a map and.
What about the
Sharpie.
new construction homes on North Avenue, like, that have been built within the past 5 years? Like, if you wanna go Swiss cheese effect, I feel like those people are gonna push
Well,
back.
that's what we need to look at, what's that, the thing that'd be helpful is if we could take a map and write the year. Like, if you take a map of the lots and write the year built on every lot,
right, right.
which I actually did that to do some research for the water department. I think that would be a really helpful map. So maybe that's a question. And see, this is why, it's too early in a GIS person to say to Matt, could you help us just generate a map of all the things in North Ave and pull this data point if it has it.
Right,
I
right.
don't know if it's
And if
files.
not, I mean, that's easy enough to
Just
do.
write it on.
Yeah, that's
Because as long as if you can get the addresses of the people that live
Yeah.
on North Avenue,
Yeah, can you
get
do
that
this?
assembled,
Yeah.
that would be perfect.
Hi.
That will allow. Hey, how are you?
Meeting.
But, how are you?
Good, good. Just met with your husband this afternoon.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Did you make any progress?
Yeah, he's trying to,
Yeah.
he's trying to make something work. Yeah.
We kind of already talked about it, but we can talk again, I guess.
Sorry about that. I was,
No, you're good.
yeah, I was trying to run from another meeting.
It looks like,
Okay, or?
what, so that was just more wood on this side too?
Yeah, so, I originally came, to the commission, and asked about the opposite side. I need a repair on the south side. So I was repairing some of the clapboard, replacing it exactly the same, no changes in color. I kept the same color as what we had And they said, yeah, no problem. So I didn't think, I was just continuing. This side needed attention. The front did not. The front I was able to clean and then power wash and scrape it down, and the siding was all nice and solid and everything. So we just painted the front, replaced the fascia board just to make it look nice and crisp, the way it looks now. And this side here, I wanted to just repair some of the siding, but we started getting into it and it was just falling apart. So there was just no replacing it. So we just replaced the whole thing, this side. But I replaced the same stuff with all cedar, that was all 1/2 by 6 cedar that was on it. I put that back on it.
Nice, great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had kept all the same colors. I had all the formula. The paint store has a formula that it's been for the last 25 years, so.
Well, you didn't have to do that, right?
Well, I didn't, I had asked permission before to replace.
Well, it's nice, it looks cohesive, I think we all know.
Yeah, I had asked before to replace the same
Yeah.
color, and they said, yeah, just do the same color. I said, okay, so I just did the same.
Technically, we can't dictate colors with.
Before you came, that's one of the things we were talking about is potentially, like, we can have a hearing to pre-approve like a concept that maybe we need to pre-approve like certain methods for repairing siding. I think this is gonna be an issue that comes up, so people have a better understanding of what they can and can't do, because technically repair is not really regulated. As long as it's all, everything's the same, like.
Like we were saying, most people aren't pulling permits for like a little siding repair, right? Like as a building inspector, you know that, right? So like, so it's kind of tough to say,
Yeah,
just to catch one of those, because somebody could just make a repair and all of a sudden their whole house is sided and we didn't know if they pulled permit. But we were saying, I was saying how hardy board is, a pretty comparable,
Yeah, it's a good alternative.
yeah,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Maybe put something in there.
Yeah, but it's like, even if it's a change of material, that it's an approved,
Right,
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's not the best product for New England, but it's not bad. It's down south or the
Yeah.
Mid-Atlantic. It's really good because
yeah,
the expansion and contraction, it doesn't
Right.
crack with the cold weather up here.
it's nasty
Kinda hit
because
and
the
miss.
concrete in it or
Yeah,
something.
it depends on how it's nailed. If it's not nailed totally properly, the way they recommend,
Well,
yeah, it'll crack on you.
yeah, because I've seen it done, it looks really nice.
It does look good.
But maybe I haven't seen it like 5 years down. the-
Well, you know what? It stays looking good because it's concrete.
Yeah,
Where wood,
right,
wood sometimes, will buckle a little bit or cup,
right.
and you can't control it.
Like a painting, I feel like it
Yeah.
pulls through.
Yeah,
the cut.
as long as the back is primed on the products, it
Okay,
holds the paint a lot better.
nice.
That stuff that I put on the south side, I ended up taking all the siding off on the south side,
Mhm.
and I just put a primed cedar back up, but it was
Yeah.
back primed as well.
I see.
So it just holds up. So I put another coat on the other side that I did last year.
Mhm.
Well, about a year and a half ago, we ended up coating the whole, that south side, we did the front, and we did this side, and then we're gonna work on the back.
Yeah,
So I have to do the back, but I ended up putting a second coat on that, so it looks really good. It came, great.
great, yeah.
Yep.
Any questions, Dan?
I don't think so, so you're all set with the front now, you were thinking you were
Yeah.
gonna do more, you just painted, it looked like you painted the railing, that's what I saw.
Yeah, we painted the
Yeah.
railings, it's great, we painted the railings all black, that's what they were. And then, we were just, taking apart the windows, screens and getting them all rescreened and, but I am doing the porch.
Yeah, storm windows, screen,
The
that's
brick
all.
on the front porch is a herringbone design, if you've gone in the post up, you know what it is. It has to be regrouted, so I'm gonna start regrouting some of that brick. And under the front of the porch, that's getting compromised because they pushed the road's kind of graded toward that porch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's eroding underneath, so my guy's gonna come dig it out and he's gonna repair down the bottom.
Yes, on the brick, because I've worn heels, I'm in the post
Yeah.
office like every other day, I'm wearing heels.
They caught in the grout line. Yeah, so we're gonna fill that, we're gonna power wash that out. You're not the only one that said that. So we're gonna power wash that out and put a emulsifier on it, and we're gonna regrout the brick to bring it up to the height, so it's not.
Yeah, so I think that's still repair.
Yeah, it's just that's a repair, you don't even pull a permit for that.
Right.
Siding repair and fascia, you should pull a permit for, so that's why we did that.
So siding repair, okay, so
Yeah, that's-
thank you for the information, we were waiting for that,
Captain to advise us now, yeah.
okay. So technically you have to pull a permit.
Permits, the only thing that's really exempt from permits is flooring in a building, any kind of floor covering, that's exempt, it's not a permit. Kitchens, surprisingly, is not a permit until you remove the sink, and then it triggers a permit because it's a plumbing. So it requires a building permit, but there's probably about 6 items in the building code that are exempt, and it's in chapter 1, so you could see that, but siding is one of them.
Cause that was it, like in the exterior, is there like a limit, or is it technically anything needs a permit, like?
You know,
Maybe not, there's like a minimum.
yeah,
square
so
footage or
look,
whatever.
if someone's doing a little bit of a
No
side,
one's
a couple of board siding
Yeah.
repair, that's one thing.
Mhm.
What I did, that's a permit all day long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
Cause I know that's like, there's one house up there, we probably should send them a letter, even though I think, it looks
It's
like
like
they're
been-
repairing it, but it's been all
Yeah.
open and tarped, it's like, it's like, it seems like they tried
Is
to do
it
it.
the two-door?
the tutor, yeah.
It's a cool house.
Yeah.
And they did.
It looks like they're trying to replace
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they came to the commission a long time ago, like when they first bought the house, so they were given, at the time, I don't think we were doing any form work, so they got permission, verbal permission.
I am replacing the doors over there too. They're all steel doors.
But you're just gonna,
They're rusty, I ordered fiberglass, and I'm gonna paint it the same color.
okay.
I think, but, I don't know, it says storm windows and doors, I think that's exempt too,
Storm windows are,
if you were,
doors,
like a new-
you know, that's debatable. I mean, the doors I'm putting in are, they're energy efficient glass, the same, I'm doing the same pattern.
Yeah.
It's a 9 light with a 2 panel, it's the exact same that's up there now.
Okay.
Other than they're fiberglass and they're insulated now, you know,
It's
so.
not like the record room where it's like a custom built wood door, it's original.
Alright,
so-
Yeah, cool. Yeah,
yeah. You're good.
I guess just, I guess just let us know if there's any major stuff, cause then
Yeah, I'm not,
we'll start asking questions.
I don't have to do
and we have
it,
to-
you know?
You're the permit buster. You called one of our agents last year, she was scrolling through MLS.
I am,
You did.
where, okay.
Bellingham, we were Bellingham.
Yeah, so,
You're like, I see there was work
yeah,
done.
I have to do that. You know what happens is, I look at MLS and then I look in the software, and if they didn't pull a permit, I'll send them a note, hey, you know,
You were very nice.
yeah, you gotta do it. The assessor calls me right away and says, hey, what's this, or what's that, and it's like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's fine,
yeah.
it's fine. We're not holding grudges, right? That's why we tell everybody to pull.
I help everyone, a lot of people do a ton of construction. And, it's just, it puts them in a position where they really don't wanna be in, because you have to back into all the permits, but I help them out, I'll help all the people, I'll say, hey,
Yeah.
just get this, and just have them go out there, if it's an electrical permit, we'll check the grounds, and, we'll look and see how it's tied in, make sure it was done properly, and it just protects the people,
Yeah,
Some people don't realize it,
It's a good thing.
some people don't even realize
Full
it,
permits,
you
yeah.
know, so. It happens.
Yeah, well, now that everything's online too, we get
Lot
to
easier.
that point, and so I can pull it right up on Patriot Properties or whatever.
Yes.
And I can see where if you have open permits, and so no one's really closing anymore. Before,
Yeah.
everybody would close and find out there's like 5 open permits on their house.
Yeah, that is, so we end up, what's good though, we can run reports. When I have plumbing and electrical guys, they just call and they say, look, you guys all done there? Can we get in and take a look? That way we can close them all. It's a lot easier when we have computers that can run reports.
Yeah.
On open stuff,
Yeah.
and you can pick all kinds of categories to run a report. It's really good.
Yeah,
We've had it over there for, I think we're on like 4 years, and we're now logging in all the back files that, from way back, and we're able to upload them all. So it's like, if someone calls and says, was there this
you
done?
can
that done?
easily pull it up and you don't have to wait on hold for 20 minutes.
It's really
or
good,
something.
it's really good. Well, we don't have to go dig in the archive,
That's what I mean.
So
So,
what are you using, is it Bellingham, what are you guys using?
yeah, permitize.
Okay, I think, is that the one you showed me, or is that?
Yeah, that was the one I showed you a while
So
ago.
Dylan, our planner, I think years ago used to work for them.
Oh, permitize?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
Did we never get permanized?
no, we have Viewpoint,
Yeah, good point, yeah.
but cause I remember you showed me something, I think John somehow showed me, cause I think Milford is.
Yeah, Milford has,
Municity,
yes,
unless it's different.
municity. He did have municity.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway.
That's
So,
what
you know,
he showed me that.
As long as they're all interconnected, I feel like.
Well,
as long
so
as they're all-
they're not,
Yeah.
but I mean, like, if anyone has permit eyes,
Mhm.
you know, you can use your same password and it'll tell like the tradespeople, you know,
Yeah.
because they pull permits everywhere.
Right.
Yeah, so they can use their same stuff, but, other than that, it's not interchangeable, but, you know, it's a lot alike. You know, it's not different, you know, it's
There
pretty
you go,
much the same.
Mendon. Once again,
Yeah. Well,
not
I
a
don't know.
charge attack.
It's slowly getting better, I mean,
I'm teasing.
no, I think,
Yeah, the old administrator, she wanted that software, I didn't want
What, Viewpoint?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it. So it must have been cheaper, you know, it might have been a budgetary thing,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
At the time.
alright.
But you can do all the departments too, you know?
oh, yeah, we're
Yeah.
using it for a few historic and,
So that's good, I mean, they're probably a lot alike, you know, they all do the same function, you know?
when I met with somebody with John Dudley, that's the guy said, because we kind of thought we were getting ripped off, and he's like, Lydia, he's like, you're paying a reasonable price, he's like, they're all the same,
They do the same thing,
you know?
just a different process.
Yeah.
You know?
Alright,
Great.
well, I'll see you free. Thank you, though.
Thank you, thanks, appreciate it,
Thanks.
have a good night.
You too.
Dan, are we pretty well set as far as the district commission goes?
I don't know, are we?
There's another meeting going on here at my house upstairs.
I don't think there's anything else that we need to touch on.
Okay.
And I think we can kind of work on this remotely.
Yeah.
We can start
Yeah.
picking up pieces and parts so that when we,
Yeah, and I can
get
send
ready
over
to,
that list.
steamroll it.
So who am I sending this list of the residents to?
You can send it to Dan and I,
Okay.
and then I will distribute it to you guys, and then we can take the list and figure out what photos we want to do.
That sounds good. It sounds like we have a little bit of time to get it done, right?
Yeah, and it's because it's so involved, and you have to do these community meetings, and a lot of the work is convincing these people that, this is a good decision for North Avenue, and because it's such a big history, street, it's like, let's get all our ducks in a row and make sure we communicate that to the public. So we'll start on that. We can do articles for the newspaper and, talk about.
What is it?
The mendonma.
Oh, the.
Free press.
Yeah, is that what's called?
I don't know.
It's okay.
I guess, used to be the crier, but passed away, right?
Yeah, and Maryland did too.
Yeah.
So anyways, we can like do little cameos about, some of the different things that used to go on North Ave. David Lowell someday, we need to sit down and watch the video of him talking about working at Beals Farm and all of the kids up there and, what they used to do in the morning, and they would leave smelling like cow poop. We have to go to school. Get on that bus.
My husband grew up on a dairy farm.
Oh, did he really?
Yes,
Oh, my
not fond memories.
No, most don't. So, yeah, that sounds great, we can touch base.
Okay, perfect.
All right, excellent.
I have some work calling me and stuff, so if I'm good,
I'm good on that.
head to the office.
We're good, so we should probably formally vote then to approve that change order pending the availability of funds, so we have to vote.
All right,
So I would make a motion to do that. Change order, $4,000 change order for the flooring in the record room, assuming we can get confirmation that we've got the funding. But it's a vote on the record.
What kind of flooring are you putting in?
There it's resurfacing what's there, but it turned out to be, the way it was proposed, they can't do it as is, and it's to all be ripped up and relaid, and that wasn't in the specs, so now it's a change order, because it's all bowed. It's a little bit of a mess.
It's work from moisture, you think?
Yeah, well, it's just all the issues, unfortunately, we have no wiggle room because of all the excessive engineering on there.
So we want to make a motion for the record room to approve the change order and the availability of funds. Is that what we want to do? I'll make a motion.
right.
room.
All right, good job. Second?
Okay. All those in favor?
Hi.
All right, anything else that you need to button up?
No, it didn't put it, is that right? Alright, I'll keep it.
Would you care, did you say something about the cemetery too?
No, that was on the list.
Oh, okay,
We can do that next time.
yes,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, we still
But
need
the
to.
brothers did do a great job on Swanville. Did you see it?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, they went brush down, trees down, the base.
Posted pictures of that? Did you post pictures of
The
that?
brothers did.
Well, they actually sent pictures, I just say they were doing that.
Oh, what a job that he did. Also,
Well, they did talk about potentially doing that once or twice a year, so we should maybe make a list, they can visit some other ones.
It's like somebody was at the Daniels,
Yeah.
cemetery on Park Street, and that thing was a mess, and it's so beautiful, and it's a small cemetery, it's got big granite steps that go up and
Oh, yeah,
down, and
I know that one, it's towards Uxbridge,
yeah,
right?
and somebody had gone in there and cleaned that up, and I'm like, wow, this is phenomenal.
Yeah, that is a neat little
Yeah,
place.
it really is.
Park Street?
Park Street,
Park Street.
oh, the Daniels,
Right on the right when you're going towards Uxbridge,
Oh,
there's a
okay,
big
yeah.
monument that says Daniels, right?
Yeah.
It's-
so, yeah, so then we, maybe we can schedule see what everybody's doing this month, see if we can pick a date and go to our field trips.
Let's do it.
yes, that's what I want. Yes, yes.
Anything else, Dan?
I think that's everything, unless we want to just verify another date for a meeting, which I probably should have done when Bruce was still here. And if we still stick to this same, I'm gonna have a conflict on July 22nd. So that whole week actually. So I don't know if we want to meet sooner or later. Or if we potentially don't need to meet in July unless something comes up. I mean, we'll see if we get any permits that come.
We're just merging these now, right?
I mean, I think if that seems to work, I mean,
So what day in July? I'm sorry.
well, it would be the 22nd, which I can't do.
$29?
I can do, I can do the 29th.
We'll be taking the bar exam the next day.
Ooh.
So I will not be here.
You're gonna be
but
studying.
Oh, it's not exciting. It's terrible.
Well, we'll hold down the fort for you.
Yes.
We're all gonna be rooting for you.
Thank
What type of law do you hope to study?
I'm gonna go either bankruptcy or corporate.
Oh. Interesting.
So you need more coffee, sweets, just call us. We will do it.
Right by.
We'll DoorDash you.
So what time or is it?
No, I have to go
Whole
there.
school exam.
Yeah, I get the first day, which is all essays, I get to use my computer, and then the second day is all paper. Yeah.
Not to say that you wouldn't pass, 'cause I really strongly believe that you do, but what is the guidelines, what are the guidelines if you say pass a portion, don't pass another, do you still have to take the whole, is it
It's all like,
one portion?
yeah, it's all one big
Yeah.
thing, so I have to, I don't understand the whole scale grading,
Yeah.
I have to meet a certain point scale.
Okay.
So as long as I meet that, then I'm okay.
Okay.
But I have no idea how it breaks down.
We'll do great.
You do just fine, I was just curious, 'cause I know like the MTEL, like the teacher's test, there's it's broken up, so like pass a portion. They don't
Yeah, I could
only have
all of my
Yeah.
essays, but if I do really well to make
Okay.
up for it elsewhere, as long as I get the points.
Really?
But I mean, theoretically, I couldn't bomb
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
essays and still pass.
No,
But-
probably, yeah. Probably 50% of it, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, it's stressful. So the 29th at 7?
29th without Christina, right?
Yeah, except, well, so actually, we can do that, but we will not have a quorum for the
Oh,
third district without
we
Christina,
should just
so unless we
skip
fix
that.
our membership issues.
Did we,
I don't know, get Jane. we can't.
If for whatever reason we need a quorum on that day, do we have to have a quorum to
We
run?
can't meet without a quorum, we don't exist, we can't
No,
take
you
any
can
action.
meet without a quorum, you just can't
Can't
vote.
make any.
Yeah, I guess we could, but it'd be a waste, I mean, so historic could meet that day, but.
I'm just saying, if there's nothing that comes up in the month of July, and I feel like July is dead anyway.
Yeah, I think we could leave that date for now and see what happens, but I think it would only be historic then,
Okay,
so if we have a hearing.
well, just let me
district-
know.
Because the risk is if that thing comes through, we need the whole hearing.
Right,
right.
Coordinate that.
And so if anything, we just push it out
I will-
to August.
I thought I had the draft here, but I'll have to do it from home, I'll send what I figured out of who, I mean, I don't know. We should ask Jane what her intention is, if she wants to continue, and we should ask, Connie what her status is, and maybe she could just be an alternate. If she felt like, well, I mean, either one, maybe she'd wanna step down and just be an alternate, so she's still involved, but not expected to be at every
Right,
meeting
right.
situation. And then I guess people individually can decide what they wanna do and then see if that gets us enough to fill out the commission.
Do we want to set the August date while we're here?
We could, if were we saying the third Monday? Fourth Monday?
So,
The third, right?
yeah,
1, 2,
19th.
3.
So I will be in St. Lucia, 19th. Sorry, I'll wait in here. That's great. Had to take a trip back to the bar, so.
We're gonna have to draw the line there, sorry.
One of us will go for
Can we do the
Yeah.
26th then?
Yeah, that works.
Oh, that's
Available.
the week school starts.
Alright.
Is it? No, that's the week. When is Labor Day?
Labor Day is the
September
Yeah.
6th, 7th,
September
8th.
2nd.
So we could do the 26th then.
Okay.
Nice.
Historic. Both is,
So are you just skipping July and jumping into August, is that what's going on?
well, I think we're just doing save the date and then
Okay,
I think, are we saying the 29th tentatively for July? Let's see what happens.
okay,
I mean, it won't help for historic or district, but
right.
unless, I mean, I don't know, I feel bad, I haven't talked to Jane, I should find out with you, I know, why don't I have lunch with her, but.
Yeah, and you know, we don't have any pressing issues. Maybe we can make the 29th a work meeting. So we can like work on, mapping and things like that, looking
Great
at
idea.
maps, inventory and see
That's a real
houses in
idea.
there.
Yeah.
Reading through the North Ave stuff.
Okay.
All right. Who wants to adjourn?
Oh, yeah.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, okay.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Let me stop.
Oh, my gosh.
All right.
Okay.